friend? I
I'm good.
I love our Ruth and Eve
Ish.
episodes
I
because
know.
we actually get to catch up for real, and these happen to be our loving, learning, and letting
Letting
go
go.
episodes. So we're gonna get to that. But how are you? I feel like we both have kind of had a hard week.
Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. I was just thinking I put on like a bright color today to try and like cheer myself up. Do you ever do that? Like try and dress
I
for how
know it
you would
looks good
like
on
to
you.
feel? Where you're
Yep,
like, I would like to
every
feel put
day.
together today, so I will do this.
Absolutely, because you feel
Yeah.
so much worse if you literally just throw on the t-shirt that makes you look frumpy, you know?
That
Oh,
that might be comfortable, but you don't feel great
yeah.
in. Yeah. Yeah, the other
No.
day I did this. I dressed up and I had on like a jacket and perfume and I was getting ready to leave just to go work and Cody was like, "Why are you so dressed up?" It's like, "Just faking it till I make it, babe." That's
Oh.
what we're doing. So,
Oh.
anyway, yeah, it's kind of a dreary day in the Midwest. I'm ready for more sunshine. Do you guys still have snow or are you like,
Oh, it's so lovely. It's really spring, but I'm also
nice?
sneezing my head off, so I think it's spring. No.
Yeah, officially. That's how you know it's officially spring.
I love, I we can't share our entire text thread with the audience here, but I I think it was interesting that both of us were basically saying like, why does it feel like, oh my goodness, it's like sluggish. It's hard to,
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong. I mean, we always know some things that are underlying, right? Some things that
Yeah.
are wrong. I think for me, I haven't slept really well all week long. That could be partly hormonal. That could be stress. It could be that my brain loves to try to solve all my problems at about 3 in the morning.
Cuz why
And
not?
then, I think we shared on my newsletter that I hurt my shoulder. And so, thankfully, a shot of cortisone and some PT's helping, and it's going to be okay. It's not, I didn't break anything, but it just is that kind of that ache, that
Yeah.
gnawing ache constantly on the arm that I use the most. And so it's just been one thing after another and feeling probably just a little like, that feeling when you're just like, nothing horrible's wrong and I should be more
Mhm.
grateful, but I just feel sad and just kind of want to go and cry for a few hours and deal with life,
Yeah. I think
and
I
not deal with
texted
life.
you right, but I think I texted you. I kind of wondered if I should just quit my life this week, like if I should just quit everything in order to just be like with the Lord and take care of my
I
body and like
know.
do all the things that you want to do that
Yep.
somehow just kind of slip away. And I
Isn't it
can't really.
interesting how it's so like all or nothing? It's so drastic, right? It's like
Yes.
we all, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. That's exactly how I feel. Because I think, and I think men feel this way too, but I think especially as women, a lot of times it just feels so overwhelming that you're like, you know what the problem is? The problem is my whole life. The problem
Right.
is everything and everybody.
Everyone.
So I'm just going to quit everything and do a big reset button and then I'll get it
Mhm.
right this time. I'll get my health right. I'll get my time with the Lord right. I'll get my attitude right. We'll just reset everything.
Right.
But the reality is, like, I just look at, you know, the journey and how every time you see in Scripture anybody's journey, you're like, okay, there was a lot of in between there. There was a lot of like
Yeah.
one day after the next, a lot of like, this is not
Yeah.
exciting. There's a lot of desert days. And I just think about how oftentimes maybe we've just trained our minds to think like we should either be winning at something or on the road to winning or like feeling like I've
Yeah.
got a plan and that naggy sense of like, actually, today's just I need to be somehow faithfully able to just take the next step. And
Yeah.
even if my attitude is not amazing, I'm going to talk to the Lord about it. That's really hard. Super
Yeah,
hard.
and I think, we used to talk about a lot on the podcast, like the one small step. And I've thought
Yeah.
about that a lot this week in particular, where I
Mhm.
went a couple of nights after the kids were in bed, I went for a walk
Mhm.
because it was like
Did
I
you?
just needed
Yeah.
to reset a tiny little bit. It wasn't like I'm quitting my life because that's not realistic and it's not really what I want to do. It's just like you said, it
I
feels
kind
so
of didn't love it
overwhelming.
when you texted that. When you when you texted that exact line, I was like, actually, since your life is inextricably tied to my life, you probably
Right.
should not quit your
Please
life
don't.
because
I'm not going to
Rooster
quit.
Simons might not be able to operate without you Stipes. So,
Yes, and I'm not really, and I don't want to, and I think that's just the daily like, being a Christian and
Mhm.
walking with Jesus is you don't have to quit your life. Like, it is part of your
Yeah.
life, right? It's not this separate thing. It's what you get to do in the
Yeah.
small choices, like you said, just to take a minute and be like, okay, Lord, I don't know what to do with this day, or I feel sad, or I don't know what I feel, but it's not great. And how
Yeah.
do we untangle this? And I don't know. And I'm just coming to you today on this walk in the
Yeah.
cold because that's what I can do.
Mhm.
So,
And I
yeah.
think progress is one of those things that it's just so hard because I just want to always be arriving, whatever it is, like
Mhm.
arriving at better, whatever, arriving at
Yeah.
a different attitude, a different mindset. I want to be arriving, not like on the uphill
On the way.
climb. And I think it's just like for a while now, but especially this last week, I think everything felt like, this is going to take a while. Oh, this is going to take a lot of building, whatever it is, whether
Yeah.
it's parenting or business or the project I'm working on or relationships, staffing, any of those things. It's like, or my
All of
body,
it.
all the things,
Everything.
health. And I think where I got kind of pouty, and I feel like whenever I say this to you, I think, oh, Eve is like disciplined. She's
No.
so godly and, and holy that I get like,
Wrong.
should I even say this to you? But I'm like, I just get kind of like, oh my goodness. Did I really have a streak of being solidly in the word and having a robust prayer life for like 10 days? And then what happened? That my shoulder
Yeah.
happened. My shoulder happened, and suddenly I can't sleep. So then apparently can't pray really well. And I apparently can't do anything else well because
Okay,
I'm
but it
exhausted.
is.
It's
Yes,
just a
it's the
cycle of
smallest
like
things. It's the
that
smallest things
upset the apple
sometimes
cart.
that
And
just, yeah, throw everything off, and then it's like, because I do tend to operate in such, like, all or nothing. It's like, well,
yes.
then it's done. Like, I give up. I can't.
Okay,
It's
but
over.
this is candid confessions. I mean, this is not what we would call this episode, but I just have to say, why is it like I'm either, Lord, you have my heart, I'm with you, reading numbers is great, like I am in every chapter, I'm thinking deeply, I'm praying, we are in sync together, or if something goes off and I'm exhausted, I'm sleeping only every 2, 3 hours, and I'm struggling and mentally, I'm just like kind of not fully present. And suddenly, this is the vice. It's like, wow, I'm now on my phone a lot more. And now
Mhm.
I'm scrolling weirdly. Now I'm like researching things I don't need to be researching and thinking about. And
Yeah,
it's not that the phone is my greatest vice. It's just that I work on my phone a lot. So the access and
it's
the
there.
entry point, the gateway to all those things happens quickly because I'm answering an email or I'm on
Yeah,
our, work app and I'm suddenly like, oh, well, now I'm off to
drawn
this other
into the
thing.
rabbit hole.
And I
Yeah.
realized that by the end of the day that the very thing my soul needed to like offset this like kind of dreary, shall we use the word malaise that I feel.
The malaise.
That's an inside joke about how I really am working on writing about this like malaise in the Christian life, this discontent, this not being able to stay focused on things that
Yeah.
we ought to do and doing things we ought not to do. I am working on and reading about thinking about this. And so I was like, who uses the word malaise? Well, here we go. The malaise that I feel ends up somehow being I end up combating that malaise somehow with things that actually make me more malaisey. I don't know, malaisey.
Malaisey.
That's actually a
New
really
favorite word.
useful word.
New
That's
favorite
actually a
word.
really useful word.
Malaisey.
It's malaise and laziness
And
mixed
lazy
together.
combined. That's a tough combo, and that's a real combo. Yeah,
It's a real
malaisey.
combo
That's
because I end up being lazy. I don't like
yeah,
set out trying to be lazy, but I get mentally lazy. I get physically lazy. I get like even spiritually lazy because I'm like, things are hard. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do about it. And I'm just going to sit here and feel the malaise. And it turns into malaisey. Oh my goodness. Oh my,
I would like to
wow.
submit that as the 2025 year of word of the year
The word of
to
the year.
Webster's dictionary.
Malaisey. We're
Malaisey.
feeling malaisey. I'm gonna
Oh
tell
my
Jessica all
gosh.
about that. So,
Yeah, your editor's gonna
well,
love that.
here's here's us committing to be honest friends. It's just us saying,
Yep.
I think whenever Eve and I have a conversation with each other over text, over the phone, all the things because we work together, or we come to you on these occasional episodes on the Ruth Joe Simons podcast. I think the goal has always been for you to join in on a coffee date that feels like a true
Yeah.
girlfriend conversation where we're saying, you know what? We love Jesus, but loving Jesus doesn't make all these things go away. And also, loving
Yeah.
Jesus means that we actually need to like lift each other up, bring each other out of the
Yeah.
pit of, I don't know how to apply this. Like, how does the gospel matter in this
Yeah.
situation? And so I think we join in an honest conversation to say, yeah, when my shoulder constantly hurts, I'm so grateful. It's not torn. I don't think I need an
Yeah.
MRI. The cortisone shot really worked. But gosh, how do I get out of the malaise and get my mind back into there's there's a opportunity to
Work to be
rejoice
done.
today.
Yeah.
And even Eve's reminder, there's one small thing. There's one small thing I can do today. It doesn't mean I have to turn the whole ship around. I don't have to quit my whole life, but we can start with one little thing. So be thinking on that too, because
Yeah.
hopefully we're not the only ones. Hopefully you're also, I mean,
Tell us we're not the
I
only
don't
ones.
I don't wish Malaysia on you, but I mean, I do hope that you relate and recognize that even if things are hard or even if you can't figure out why, but you just want to go cry. Yesterday I was at Bible study Eve and a friend of mine was like, I cried 3 times yesterday and it's
Hmm.
not like anything's falling apart. It's just sometimes it just feels heavy and hard.
It's the
And I'm
thing to
like,
do.
I'm with
Yeah.
you. I get it. I get it. So,
Yeah. As a side note, I think we're gonna have to come up with a word to describe the opposite of malaise because now I'm like, when
ooh,
it's not malaise. So just tuck that away. We don't have to do it right
okay.
here. If you
Give
listening have
us,
a
yeah.
suggestion, tell me what the opposite of malaise is. Because my brain is working that problem in the background right now.
So classic Eve. It's like you're going to be chewing on that.
It's like,
And
what
I don't
word can
know.
I use to describe? Yeah. Okay. Well,
Do you think Jessica will like it if I have a chapter called Feeling Malaise?
malaise.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it depends on how you spell it. No.
I'm also ready for you guys to tell me in the comments or whatever and send me messages like if you actually relate to this because this is a
Yeah.
real thing and I want to crowdsource a little bit like do you guys wrestle with this like
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong but I know what I ought to do but I don't want to do it and in the Christian life even like I
Yeah.
know all the right answers in my head and they start with something like God is good and Jesus is my savior and we believe those things and
Yeah.
but sometimes it's hard on the path to holiness and obedience and how do we combat the malaise? So, I'm
Yeah.
working on it. Okay, shall we share our
Yeah.
as you guys know from the last episode, we don't tell each other what we're loving, learning and letting go.
Just come in
We're
with a
just gonna
list.
surprise. Yep. But oh, you know what we loved was reading all about y'all's loving, learning,
Yeah.
and letting go. I saw it in the comments. I saw it on YouTube. Thanks for sharing. We always want to hear about it, and I think it just makes us feel less alone when
Yes.
people can read each other's things and realize you don't have to discover the cure for cancer or do anything amazing with like start with little things like what you're loving and what you're learning and how
Yeah.
you're conquering one little thing and letting it go or maybe you're letting go of moldy cheese. I don't know, but whatever you're letting go, it's
Please
one
let
big
go of it.
step, right? Yes, let's go. We'll get rid of that.
Let's
All
go
right,
ahead
do
and
you
leave
want to
that
go
one.
first on your loving? Are we doing them one at a
Sure.
time? Yep.
I can start with loving. Um, I was thinking of all the qualifiers, but I'm just gonna say right now I am really loving my small group, the community of people that I
Mm,
get to do life with. Team Stipes has had a heck of a start to 2025.
mhm.
We have
Have you shared that
just
here? I don't think
I
you
don't
have.
think so. We've just been sick a lot. We did so good. I totally jinxed us because all through the fall semester nobody got sick and I was like, "We're doing it. Our elderberry gummies from Costco are working.
You have little
We are
people. So in case
crushing
anybody
it."
doesn't, yeah,
Yeah.
you have little people and
I have a
they're around a lot of
7-year-old.
other little people.
Yes, a 7-year-old and twins that will be 5 in just a few weeks. And they're in full-time preschool and then first grade. So yeah, and my husband works at an elementary school, a K-8, and so I was like, "We're doing great." And then Christmas happened, and then we had a lot of snow, and then I went on a trip, and I came home, and my husband had COVID, which he so lovingly passed along to me. And then like 2 weeks later, I was still trying to like get over that. and then the whole family got the flu at the same time. All 5 of us had flu A.
Oh my
Thankfully, not a
goodness.
stomach bug.
Yeah.
That's the only way it could have been worse, honestly. But man, parents being sick at the same time as each other and the children, 10 out of 10 do not recommend. It is not a fun thing. Um, and then we had a little guy with asthma stuff going on, so we were in the hospital overnight. Like, it just feels like it's been one thing after another.
Mhm.
And I have never been so grateful for community. You know,
Mhm.
we have had countless meals delivered to our house. There have been a lot of text thread conversations that said, I don't know what's going on, or like, hate to tell you again, but we're sick. Can you pray? And just lots of encouragement. I
Mhm.
mean, everything from a coffee delivery to flowers showing up on my doorstep. I mean, I just really,
Mhm.
the small group that we do life with, but then even our wider community has just really
Mhm.
been such a gift to me in these last months. But
I love that.
yeah, even last night, literally last night, we had our small group over for our monthly family dinner with everybody and all the kids. And there's some hard stuff happening,
Yeah.
and we're all navigating it. But it makes such a difference when you feel like you're doing that with people and that other
Yep.
people know what's going on and are praying. Like, I've felt the prayers of
Yeah.
my local community. It's been such a gift.
Isn't it interesting how what you really want in community when things are tough are things that you have to cultivate when things are good?
Yeah.
It's like you have to cultivate in the ease what you want to ultimately have
Yeah.
when things are really tough. Because it's like when things are tough and you want to share, like, oh my, or you don't want to share that things are hard in your marriage, or
Right.
your children are disobedient, or you're struggling with depression, or whatever it is that's hard to talk about. It's so easy to withdraw and just go away,
Yeah.
but when you cultivate that sense of we we are a
We do
family,
this
we are a
together. Yeah.
community, we shoulder each other's burdens, then when those things happen, whether it's illness or sadness or loss, you kind of can't help but be like, these are the people that I know will have my back and will
Yeah.
support us in it. So that's such a good reminder. I love that for you.
Yeah.
I know your community's been a joy and such a
They have.
blessing for you guys. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
What
Neat.
about you? What are you loving?
Mine's not as beautiful as yours. I'm loving making immunity shots. That's
Yes.
I just got
I
tired of
mean,
buying
it's
them.
important.
I just got tired of buying them, and you know what? It could be placebo, but I really feel like, um, I travel a lot.
A lot.
I hug
Yeah.
a lot of people. I touch a lot of people's cell phones and, like, taking selfies or doing like, I just there's a lot of contact with a
Well,
and I'm on a
germs.
plane a lot. Yeah, a lot of germs. And, I actually did not get sick when my whole family got sick, and when
Yeah.
flu kinda went through our family, I didn't get sick, and that could just be the Lord's grace because I don't know how I would have canceled some events, like, there's
You
just
did have
no
a lot
way.
of travel issues, but you didn't get sick.
Oh my goodness. No wonder we're both so tired because the start of 2020, whenever you texted me and said, "Okay, I'm kinda done with 2025," I was
Right.
like, for different reasons, but yes,
Right.
ma'am. I was like, "Oh, yes, ma'am." Like, by the time I spent the night did I ever even share about this here?
I
By
don't
the
know if you
time
have
I
on the
spent the
podcast.
night at the
Yeah.
DFW I mean, podcast, but at the DFW airport where I spent the night curled up on a seat thinking, "I've
Holding
been
your
here for
stuff.
14 hours
Oh
holding
my
my stuff
gosh.
like there was a burglar at the youth lock-in." Like,
Walking
this is
around
literally
with like a
I was
mask
like
on, like trying to like pick your stuff
I
out. Yeah.
literally was like, "Oh my goodness, this is,
Yeah.
we
But
digress."
even after
But
14 hours, you didn't get sick in the airport.
I
That's
know.
pretty impressive,
I
actually.
slept. I didn't fall asleep. So I literally slept. I did
Yeah.
not sleep. I mean, I closed my eyes for a few
You like
hours.
dozed for 1 hour out of
And I
48.
don't think I actually dozed. I heard the music at DFW the entire time. I was very aware of the music and I, it's just was there for 14 hours. Um okay, so what you really want to know, I know what everybody's
Yeah,
listening
everyone's gonna be
is
like,
really wanting.
what do you put in it?"
I know. How do you make the immunity shots? So I'm a big believer in ginger. And so like I grate the ginger. So like you can go buy these shots, but they're like $4 a piece and
Right.
makes me sad to drink $4. But I at home I grate the ginger and I've been making these little shots and putting them in little containers or I do ice cubes or
Mhm.
whatever. But I grate the ginger and I don't even know if this is like how you're supposed to do it, but I put it in a sieve, I run water through it, and I don't know if this is what they mean by pressed juice, but this is how I'm pressing it. I'm running the water through it, and it's surprisingly I mean, I know you can just run it through the blender. Okay, you
Yeah.
probably could just run it through the blender. I haven't done that. I just like grate it real quick. I run the water through and just press it all out. And the
Mm.
juice is surprisingly strong. And I run it
Yeah.
as many times as the pulp will let me. And then I add lemon. So I
Mhm.
squeeze or like juice a lemon. Um, because I don't have fresh turmeric. If I had fresh turmeric, I would do it too. But I do turmeric powder and then I
Mhm.
do that little mix of adding a sprinkle of cinnamon and a sprinkle of cayenne,
Yeah.
and I kill myself with that that very potent situation. I think
Like
if I needed to, I could add like a little bit of like pineapple juice or add a little
uh-huh.
honey, but most
Right.
of the time
Just
I
taking it
just
like a soldier.
yeah, I totally do.
So do
And
you make
I
like a
don't know.
batch of it or do you just make it fresh every single
Yeah,
morning?
but I mean, no, 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 there's no
Okay.
way. And
Okay.
I'm
I was like,
about
that's
to
a
be
lot of
like,
effort.
and I'm about to be like, who can I hire to make this for me? Actually,
Hmm.
um, but it really, I think for as much as I am not always getting good sleep on the road,
Yeah.
or let's just say, I was sleeping in a hotel last week, got up in the middle of the night, tripped and fell, and did this to my shoulder. So, like, there's always something going on with Ruth, like that's like threatening my health. It's always like something's
Just
about to take me out at
something
all
coming
times.
in. Yeah.
Something is always ready to take me out. And so I'm just grateful. I mean, I just need all the help I can get. So I've been making immunity shots. No amazing recipe, but there's lots of recipes online, I'm sure. I just don't follow one because I just use whatever I have. But it's always some combo of ginger, lemon, killing myself with a little bit of cayenne and turmeric.
Cinnamon.
But I sometimes take turmeric pills too to help with like
I take
allergies
them every
and
night. Yeah,
yeah, do you? Okay.
I do. Helps with
You're better than
inflammation.
you really are consistent. Every
I'm
night?
a consistent vitamin
I
taker.
know.
Yeah. Cause I like
I
I have to take medicine for my thyroid. So it's like if I
oh,
don't take it,
true.
I notice it. So I habit stack. I like put all the things together. I've got my morning and my evening. And I really am I take magnesium and turmeric both at night.
I don't remember what we said on the last one. Did I say I was learning to wash my face? Because I don't know if I
Yes, we
unlearned
did.
that. I'm doing that better, but not perfectly. So I'm not the most consistent. All right, what are you learning on that note? What are you learning?
Well, it's funny because when I first thought about this question, I was like, I'm learning nothing right now. I don't know. I'm surviving in my life. What am I learning? What's
That's
happening?
honest. Yes.
What's going on? And that feels a little disheartening, honestly, I think, to be like,
I
well,
feel that sometimes for sure.
yeah, like I don't know. I'm just trying to stay afloat this year,
Yeah.
these months, this time, this day.
And
Um,
honestly, for somebody like you who loves to learn, I can see why you want to quit your whole life to like
yeah,
reset because you
learn
actually
some
love
things.
learning and you love reading
I
and you love,
do.
right, well,
Yeah.
you want to go back to seminary.
I would love to. Or any sort of class. Like
I
anything
know.
that sounds interesting. Let's do it. I'm up for it. But I would say if I take a step back and think like, okay, maybe not what I'm like reading or because I'm not reading anything great right now, which is sad. I'm not even reading fiction right now. Such a sad day. Anyway, side note. Um, I think I've been reflecting a lot about this season of Lent and
Mm,
just like it is a season of thinking about like suffering and death
mhm,
and loss and so I've been
mhm,
navigating some of that in my own life. Yeah, I've shared on the podcast before that my dad passed away in 2020 really unexpectedly about a month before the twins were born. And because it was COVID life and I was really pregnant with twins, it was just a hard situation. I wasn't able to be there, just all the things. And so
mhm.
this year's the 5-year anniversary and just processing some of those things and thinking through again. I think this year it finally hit me like that I wasn't there when it happened, and so
Mhm.
got stuck on that a little bit. But
Mhm.
anyway, just thinking like, yeah, I have a really dear friend also who passed away in the month of March. Not this year, but prior. So like just the whole month of March feels
Mhm.
a little angsty sometimes. And some friends who are walking through loss. And so just feeling like, ugh, I don't like this. But
Yeah.
realizing like in a season of Lent, like those things, that's kind of like what it is. You know, like we're looking
Mhm.
forward to resurrection and to new life
Yeah.
and in spring of things growing. And so I don't know. I've just been thinking about the parallels. I don't know if I'm learning, quote unquote, anything. I don't have like a succinct
Mhm.
statement of where I am, but just reflecting a lot on those parallels. I'm like, okay, Cody and I are also watching The Chosen right now, which I
Oh.
know we're like so late to the game,
Yeah.
but this was kind of one of our Lent practices, which might sound a little bit silly, but we thought like, hey, during Lent, like let's watch The Chosen. Like we've never watched it
Mhm.
before. So let's start. We're not watching it every day, but we're getting, you know, into the season, the first season. And I don't know, it just feels like, okay, yes, like there are just all of these themes coming up
Mm.
and we're looking forward to Easter, you know, but this is the season
Yeah.
of like fasting and prayer and
Yeah.
working through suffering and death and feeling the weight of that
Mhm.
in order to really feel the contrast of what it means that Jesus was resurrected and brings life. So,
And our friends here may not, that I got to speak at a
yeah,
donor event for The Chosen. And it was there that I was really aware of how much their heart for the series is this theme of looking up, right? It's like
yeah,
look up. And then I was like, well, my theme and what Grace Lace does in my whole heart is to look to Jesus. And ironically, and maybe it's not ironic, I'm just making all the connection points. But when it's not just depicting the life of Christ and, what the disciples were like. It's not so much about trying to literally portray that as much as
right.
reminding us to look up from our daily life and recognize that um, Jesus is in pursuit of us. That this
Yeah,
is not just a story. That's really like
yeah,
who is Christ, and our Lent set that we created at Grace Lace
yeah.
actually is look to Jesus with the same heart. And so it's interesting that because as you said that, I was like, oh my goodness, it really is all connected. And
Hmm.
I we weren't watching The Chosen when we wrote and created the
Yeah,
Lent set, Look to Jesus, but it's that same idea of like we can look down and fixate on all that's hard, all the loss, all that's not yet okay. Or we
yeah,
can look up and say, well, Sunday is coming.
yeah,
Jesus is alive. And one day there will be no more tears and no more suffering, and all
right.
will be made right permanently. But as we look up and look to Jesus, we can see our everyday right now, that angsty, painful, can't change the circumstances month of March or any other month, that we can
Yeah,
actually look at that differently too. And so, yeah, what a good reminder this time of
yeah,
year. And I'm sorry that it's hard. It's like
yeah,
can't change it. You can't speed it up. Grief, there's no
yeah.
end date on
Yeah.
grief, and
Yeah.
so
You don't
it's
get
just
to
a
just be like,
journey.
yeah, we're done
I
with
know.
this. It's like better to feel it
Yeah.
when it comes and
Yeah.
let it be. What about you? What are you
I kind of
learning?
hate that on every one of these this week, mine are not emotionally engaging as yours.
No, it's
I'm
good,
like
but yours are
I'm like
fun though.
sh
We
I'm
need
like,
the
"Shall
combo.
we?" I'm like, "Shall we move from Lent and lament and suffering to what I'm learning?" You wanna know what I'm
Yes,
learning?
let's do it. What are you
I'm
learning?
learning how to deadlift.
Oh, okay, but yes, you sent me a video the other day and I was like,
I
post it,
mean,
post it, post it.
I'm gonna post it. I'm scared to post it, but maybe after this podcast comes out or around, I don't know. I gotta
You're
post it.
doing it. You're doing all the
I
things the internet tells us we should do. You are lifting heavy.
not just not during the
With
shoulder
your
issue.
shoulder. Yeah.
But yeah, and the doc said it could have been somewhat related, but not really. It wasn't the same muscles. But y'all, I was like learning about what women my age need to be doing. And it's like, yeah, it's
Protein, lift
basically
heavy.
lifting. Yeah, lift
Yeah.
heavy, wear a weighted vest, all the things, which I
I
haven't
have
done that
one.
yet. You have
I
one.
bought one. Of
Oh my
course I
gosh.
bought one.
Well,
I haven't worn it
well,
yet, but I
you're
bought
so
it.
influenced. Yeah. And so
I
I
am
live
so
with
influenced.
I live with guys who deadlift and they're like really good at it and
Yeah.
also have good form. So I was like, I don't need to go pay for a trainer right now. I'm just going to make Troy Simons teach me. So all the things, apparently you feel it in your hamstrings and your glutes if you're doing it right, because turns out you're not using your arms, you're using your butt and your legs,
Yeah.
all the things. I mean, I'm
Do
sure
you feel like
everybody
a
listening.
boss when you're doing it? Because it looked awesome. Like, I feel like every time
Except
I
did
see a
you see
woman
the
lift,
end of
it's
the
like,
video?
yeah.
Well, I also I don't know if I sent you the version of the video where I set it to AC/DC, but that I
Yes, you
did feel
did.
like a I did feel like a boss because the intro was really
Yeah,
great.
right.
But did you see at the end of the video? I, YouTube will see this, but I was like gnarly. I was like, I'm doing it. Troy's like, you can't hear him, but he's yelling. He's like, babe, that's awesome form. He's like, that's so, hinge at the hips. Don't use your back. He's like yelling, we're doing great. And then at the end, did you see the video? I was like, I
Yeah,
put my
like,
thumbs up.
thumbs
I put
up.
my thumbs up and I was like a little girl, like, did I do it? Did I do it? Are you proud of me?
No,
I'm
I
such a
think
nerd.
my favorite thing of the video, if I remember correctly, because I remember thinking about this, but then I didn't send it to you, was the question, "Are you wearing slippers right now?" Like, in the video, I think you're
Oh
wearing
my
slippers while you deadlift, and I was like, "Best combo ever." I mean,
god.
I
Oh
think
my
it's just
gosh. Okay,
hashtag real life.
am I even allowed to post that now? Because
Yes, you would
I'm such a goof.
definitely
I was
have to post it.
dressed. I was like wearing just loungy at home clothes
Yeah, and
and
you're like, "I'm doing it."
my little slippers.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I'm gonna do it. I can. And then it's now set to ACDC plus
Yeah.
me being a cheesy, like, are you
The
proud
people are
at the
gonna
end?
need to see it. Yeah,
Oh my goodness. So
that's
be
gonna need to
proud. I'm
happen.
learning how to deadlift.
So proud.
Yes.
I'm very proud of
My
you.
goodness. All right.
Thank
What
you
are
so
you
much.
leaving behind or letting go?
You're gonna laugh because we had a conversation about this over text this week. I am letting go of a clean house the way that I want it to be all the time.
Oh, I was gonna use this one, but okay. Yeah.
So I feel like I
Mm.
thrive in tidy spaces.
Yeah, me too.
Like, if things are messy or chaotic, it feels messy and chaotic in my brain. And I have 3 small children. And so
Hmm.
I think I'm just coming to terms more and more with the reality that it doesn't matter maybe as much as I think it does. So, yes, I want it to be picked up. I want it to be tidy. I
Yeah.
want it to be clean. I don't want it to be like we've got mud tracked through the house, all that
Yeah.
stuff. But even in terms of like hosting people, or prime
Hmm.
example, this weekend, Cody and I are going to go away for a couple days, and my in-laws are watching the kids, but they're going to come to our house after a day at
Hmm.
their house and hang here. And I'm like, okay, well, I haven't freshly scrubbed the shower. I haven't, like vacuumed that bedroom carpet. I just go through this list in my brain of like, it
Of
has to be
course.
this
We all
way,
do.
all the
Yes.
things. Yeah.
Why do we
And that
do
would be
that?
so it would be so lovely if all of those things
Hmm.
happened and I had time for them. And if I had time for them, I would do them joyfully. I'm not like trying to not do them. It's just
Right.
we're literally out of time.
Yeah.
And so I'm learning to just let that be. Like people came over last night. There was toys strewn all over one room, and I just like, it's fine. They're gonna play
But
with them
isn't it
anyway.
weird?
It's gonna happen.
Isn't it so weird
Just
that
let it
have
be.
you ever been at somebody else's house and been like, "Oh, I wish that she had vacuumed
Yeah.
that corner before I
Never.
came,"
I've never been
or
like, "Ooh, they didn't
or
dust that lampshade."
or like there's fingerprints on that window. When was the
Yeah.
last time they scrubbed the window? I have never
Yeah.
felt that. I have never once felt that or thought that.
Yeah.
And yet I literally notice everything. And people make skits about it all the time, but it's true. It's
Right.
like I think to
Yeah.
myself, I will be a better version of me. And this is the truth. I typically say this to my family. I can concentrate more if the house is clean. I
Yes.
will be a better version of myself if there's not
Mhm.
fingerprints on everything. But I was challenging myself this week too, where I was like, do I really need to have the fingerprints and the
Yeah.
piles all cleaned up before I can actually, for lack of a better way to put it, be faithful with what God's
Yeah.
given me to do?
Yeah.
Because it really does jeopardize my joy. It like
Yeah.
really like
Um, I saw the funniest video on Instagram maybe last week, and I've thought about it this week in terms of cleaning the house. It was this woman talking about the little piles that happen around your house and
mhm.
how mom's the only one who cares about finding places for the little piles because it's like, here's a little pile of like 4 Legos and a hairbrush and a pair of scissors that someone just like leaves on a table. And a mom comes to it and is like, okay, I got to find a spot for all these little things. Everybody else just like adds to the pile. They're like, "Oh, it's a little pile. Here's something else for it." And I started thinking about it and I
It's
was like,
so
"Oh my
true.
gosh. Truly, around my house there are just like little piles in every room of like just random stuff that didn't get put back to
Yeah.
where it needs
But
to
now
go."
it's
So
a
I've
tidy pile. It's
I
a
know, but it's not.
purposeful
It's just
pile.
like I have to put it away. So I've started working with my kids on, we call it the one touch rule, where it's like
Uh,
it started with the dishwasher. Like if you have a dish, don't put it in the sink, put it
yes.
in the
Yep.
dishwasher because no one else needs
So
to touch
great.
it if your
Yep.
hands have been on it.
I
So
love it.
I told them I saw all these little piles. I was like, "Hey, one touch rule. Like where does this need to go instead of being in a
Uh-huh.
pile that mom has to deal with later?"
You know what
But
my piles are? All
what?
along my stairs. You know how many stairs are in my house,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's an old
It's just like,
house.
"We'll
It has
take it
different yeah.
upstairs later."
Oh my gosh, I have like a pile for each child on the stairs. And then
Yep.
I have my pile, which is terrible. It usually
Right, just
includes like 4
overflowing.
pairs of shoes because I don't wear
Yeah.
shoes in the house. Everybody else in my family is less Asian than me, and so they don't take off their shoes, but I'm like coming in and
Always.
always taking so there's like 4 pairs of shoes at all times just sitting
Yeah.
around by the staircase. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm proud of you, and it doesn't
Trying to
matter.
let it go a
And
little bit.
I appreciate the way you said it, though. It's not that it doesn't matter, so none of us should care about that.
Right.
No, it does matter that we care for things. It's just that if life catches up with you and you really don't have time and you really just can't do it, like to not feel like happiness depends on it.
Yeah, and
That's the
ultimately,
struggle for me.
if
Yeah.
I have 30 minutes before my kids go to bed and I can spend it cleaning up or we can sit on the couch and read a book together,
Mhm.
then, like, I wanna choose
Mhm.
being together over, like, this
Absolutely.
unreal expectation in my mind that
Yeah.
I'm the only one who
Yeah.
has it of how clean the house should be. So,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
working on it.
I'm like that about cabinets because we happen to have
Oh
blue
my
kitchen
gosh.
cabinets and every fingerprint is like seen on it. And
It's
so
like
I'm
a spotlight.
constantly like, can we wash our hands before we butter the toast? Like it's just some version of that at all times. All right. I am letting go. It's not a full let go. It's like almost like it's on a leash, but I'm like
A
letting the
partial.
leash go. Partial let go. I'm doing pretty good at letting go of added sugars. That's my thing. I
I'm
am
so
like
proud of
not
you.
it's kind of wild. I mean, so the let me just say, it's like everything from learning it's been a while that I've been like this where I drink an americano and I don't
Mhm.
need my
Syrup
2
or
pumps of syrups, and at home, the boys have, like they're good at the espresso machine, and
Oh, yeah.
we sometimes buy the little, Torani syrups, and so they
Uh-huh.
do fun lattes or whatever, and so I even have it at home. It's not like just a Starbucks run, but even at Starbucks, it's pretty rare now for me to do the brown sugar shaken espresso. Like that's a big treat. But I'm
Yeah.
really enjoying a black coffee these days. Sometimes
Mm.
on the plane even, I feel like I really
Ooh.
feel I know. That's like pretty desperate. I'm
That's like
like
that's like legit black coffee.
I mean, it's like there's no frills. It's like black coffee on American
Straight up
Airlines. And so
dripped
I've
out of the
even been
machine.
I've even been drinking black coffee. So it's like, and honestly, it's like choosing not to have the fancy drink if I could just have club soda, no like
Yeah.
Italian sodas, no extra, like no sodas, just not having anything
Yeah.
sugary. Um, it's even choosing to, and I'm not like on some major health thing. I wish I was as disciplined as that I was like on a major health goal. I really should be because I am turning 50 this year, but I should be on a major like goal oriented thing, but it's more just being aware of it. It's just being
Small
aware that,
choices.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just small choices because I think it's more sustainable if I think to
Yeah.
myself, okay, like last night at Bible study, we did Bible study over a dinner out last night, and um, instead of getting the really awesome Southern fried chicken, which I do, I don't deprive myself, but I was like, you know what? I just don't need the extra added whatever, what in carbs or in sugars and stuff. And so um, I'm just learning to like not having the addedness of it,
Yeah.
which is new for me because I actually love sauce. I'm like such a sauce person.
You are a condiment person
Oh
to the
my goodness.
extreme.
I mean, and so sauce is where like sugary things, like everything is like
Yeah,
dipped in this.
dumped in there.
So this is where I would say I'm not the best because like yeah, like I think a lot of Asian sauces have sugars. Sugar just is in everything, but I'm letting it go. It's starting to like exit the premises. Like
It's like
it's starting.
unclenching my
I
hand.
know. Yep,
I'm
letting
proud of
it
you.
run off. Yeah, thank you. So
Into the sunset.
well, friends, what are the things that you're loving and learning and
Yeah,
letting go? I think letting go and leaving behind could feel a little bit different. So, either one, we'd love to know because I think sometimes um, this is a great conversation starter, even with your friends at coffee. So,
yeah,
get off whenever you're done with this podcast, go meet a friend at a coffee shop and ask, what are you loving? What are you learning? And what are you letting go of? I think sometimes that opens up. Avenues of conversation like even today I didn't know if you were thinking deeply about how grief and loss and lent was all coming together for you
yeah,
even so like sometimes you just don't know unless you ask and hopefully this is a
yeah,
good um, conversation starter, something to help us think more deeply about what the Lord is doing in our lives right this minute,
yeah,
right now, before any of our circumstances change. Because I think if
yeah.
I'm honest, I would love this episode to be how everything has changed and I'm living a better life since the last time we talked. But that's not really how coffee dates go. Most of the
Yeah,
time we get together and not things have not all changed. Our
it's not a
we
major
haven't done a
update.
one no, we haven't done a 180 on our health journey. We haven't done a 180 on our communication patterns in marriage. Our kids aren't like suddenly making all the right choices and right attitudes all the time. It's a fight no matter what. And so
Yeah,
whether you're friends who meet once a month or every week, or if you're like us where we talk regularly. But for your sake, we get on this podcast and share what we're loving, learning, and letting go of. Let it just be a reminder that we're all works in progress, taking one day at a time.
for sure. Have a great rest of your day, friends.
We'll see you next time. And if you love this podcast, share it with a friend, leave us a review, pass this on, or just tell somebody you love, hey, listen to this with me. Let's have a conversation just like this. We'll see you next time.